Hi, what's up, guys? Hey, the question that someone posed at me was, how do you know if you're making the right decision? And here's what I want to say. Before I get into the nuts and bolts of how to make a right decision, the first thing you have to ask yourself is it a moral decision? And what I mean by a moral decision is that lying, cheating, stealing, all those good Christian morals that we have, if you have to break any of those, it's a bad decision. You don't want to do it. So let's just accept that it's not a moral decision. It's one of those more benign decisions. Should I buy this house? Should I take this job? How am I going to have this leadership conversation with somebody at my work? Whatever it may be. The first thing that you have to do is you have to walk through the whole entire process of what is it going to look like if what I do comes to fruition. How is it going to affect everything? So you've got to mentally walk through that process. And then you begin to look at all the things that it's going to affect. Is it going to affect my family? Is it going to affect my finances? Is it going to affect my fitness? How is it going to make me be perceived to other people? And some people would, in this day and age, people make decisions, say, well, I don't care what other people think about me, or I don't care what other people are going to say. And that's true to a point, but there comes a point when you become a leader where you actually have to think about how your decisions affect other people. I'll give you an example. I'm a pastor of a church. That's what I do for a living. I am never going to own a Cadillac, right? I love Cadillacs. I think they're awesome cars. I could buy a 1970s Coupe de Ville for $1,000 and people are going to say the pastor drives a Cadillac, right? I can buy a 2018 Kia and spend $30,000 on it and nobody's going to say the pastor drives a Kia. That's just the nature of how those things work. And so you have to really think about the perception of the decision that you're going to make and how it's going to affect other people's perception of you, because as a leader, perceptions matter. I wish they didn't, but they actually do. The other part of it is that you have to understand the cost associated with it, and not just the cost monetarily, but the cost from a leadership perspective. As a leader, you only get so many asks. So if you ask too many things, you're not going to have as much of an impact than if you would only ask big asks to get a good output. I hope that makes sense. And then the other thing that you have to do is you have to think about like other people that have made similar decisions. As they made those decisions, what kind of outcomes did they have? And see, okay, if they made this decision before and had a good outcome, chances are I'm probably going to have a pretty good outcome as well. And then the other part that I would share with that as well is that it's always good to bounce a decision off of somebody who's at the same level of influence that you're at. Sometimes you want to ask those decision questions with other people, but like you don't ask a child rearing question to somebody who doesn't have any kids. You don't ask a financial question to people that are horrible at their finances, and you don't want to ask influence questions to people that don't have any influence. Now, you don't always have to accept their feedback, but it's always good to get their feedback before you make that decision so that you can have a firm understanding of what other people are going to perceive it as. But also, you can look at those other parts of the decision-making process of how it's going to affect other people, how other people are going to perceive it, and then you're able to make a good, solid decision. And at the end of the day, if it's moral, if you've thought it through, if you've looked at the fallout, you've asked for some feedback with other people, you don't really have to worry about it. You just kind of go forward with the decision. And here's the last part of it, and this is probably the most important, is that you've got to be willing to admit that you made the bad decision. Because sometimes you go through all those steps, you come to the end, and then a big glaring thing comes up and someone says, man, you shouldn't have ever made that decision. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to say, well, I'm just going to keep this the way that it's supposed to be because I don't want to lose face. Sometimes you got to be willing to lose face and admit that you made the bad decision. So then that way, when you make your next decision, people are more likely to follow you because they know you're willing to admit that you're wrong. Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button right here and the like button right here, and make sure to share this video. Thanks for watching.